Hi everyone. Hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It's the beginning of a wonderful second half of the week already. The first half is just about done, gone into existence, and we're gearing up for the second half of this week. And if things didn't quite work out for you yet as you intended, be encouraged. Know that you still have a few days to make your week happy and productive and fulfilled. Keep pushing, keep praying, keep working on all the things that you intend to accomplish for this week. Hi Keisha, so good to have you on again. Just know that you got to keep your goals in focus. Be consistent, stay with it. And even though you've not gotten the results you want yet with this first half, we all know what can happen in the second half, right? So just coming by with a very quick word of encouragement to everyone as I share with you some thoughts about the whole being greater than the sum of its parts. You being part of something bigger than yourselves, than us being part of something that's greater than ourselves. As people, we tend to be creatures of community. We tend to thrive in communities. We want to congregate. We want to have connectedness with one another, with each other. We're made that way. We yearn, for the most part. Now, there are exceptions here, but the way the Creator made us was so that we could be in harmony and fellowship with each other. And so for the most part, we yearn for connections and to be in relationships, hopefully healthy relationships with each other, whether it's a family relationship or maybe it's a community type relationship that allows us to foster some social experiences, or maybe it's a church environment. Whatever it is, we seek out those communities to be a part of. And there's actually some good reasoning behind why that happens. There's an old song that says, people who need people are the luckiest people in the world. And, I certainly don't believe in luck. I believe that we come together and we are able to contribute the best of ourselves, our energy, our spirit, the things that move us and that are uniquely us. And then we're able to draw from each other, and that makes us blessed indeed to be a part of each other, to be in this space where we can enrich each other as we enrich ourselves. And so community does that for us. It brings the closeness and togetherness. And there are way too many lonely and sad people in this world. And if for some reason you feel very isolated in a crowd, I want to encourage you to understand the power of connectedness and forge relationships. Just begin to impart yourself into what's happening and give a little of who you are and receive a lot of what others are. And that's going to make a huge difference in your experiences. This is important even as we enter the world as babies. There are tons of studies that show that babies who are not touched, who don't get the benefit of what happens in community, so to speak, but when they're not touched and there is no closeness, that babies actually stop thriving. They will literally die in certain cases when there is incredible deprivation, particularly of the human spirit. And so that physical touch early in life help babies to speed up their development, help them to better recognize self and to be comfortable in their place in the world as they grow and explore and become attached to people and things. So that physical touch, we all know the power of touch as it relates to preemies. And when premature babies are given, especially that skin-to-skin contact, it's amazing how they grow and thrive and become healthy and even get caught up with full-term babies. So there's a lot to be said for what happens when we're in community, when we touch each other physically and when we touch each other with our souls and with our gifts and talents and the care that we experience. So community is huge. And again, be sure that you are finding out where these communities are that you can become a part of. There's some other things that I want to share with you about research. It's been found that particularly with young monkeys, when they are separated, when there's some kind of dysfunction or deprivation again, and they are separated from their mothers, food becomes less important than touch. They want to cuddle. They will even cuddle and hold something that appears as a mother figure or something that looks like them. Much greater than if there was the presence of food. They would reject food and go towards touch and contact. So community, as we grow, as we become adults, this doesn't go away. It's still an important part of our existence. We need that connectedness in our lives. And because we live in this virtual world, we tend to develop this false sense of connectivity. We accept far less than we should when it comes to what we need to have healthy relationships that thrive, that excel, and not just survive. Sometimes we're just going through the motions and we're in survival mode and don't even recognize it because we've accepted that we could survive through text messages or just the sense of friendship and connectedness that really doesn't fill our souls the way we need it to. Don't get me wrong. There are great benefits to being able to connect virtually, but I'm saying it should not be the end of the story. It should not be all that we experience. We do need something more than that, and let's not settle for less than that. So when we come together, there is an amazing synergy that gets created. And if you've ever experienced synergy, you know the power of it. It's when we come together with the right people and we feel in sync. We feel like we are, our creative juices have been turned on because we stimulate each other, we excite each other, we're finishing each other's sentences, and we're developing new perspectives and new thoughts. And it's like a great big mastermind, really is what it is when we come together in synergy and create these things that are far greater than what we would have thought of. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to experience. And there's something else that's pretty incredibly profound that happens when we work together. The whole outcome, the thing that is created is far bigger, better, much greater than the sum of the individual parts. So here's an example that will quickly bring this into focus. If we think about the ingredients needed to make a cake, those ingredients would be eggs and sugar and flour and butter, and there are other things, but let's just go with some of those basic ingredients. Those ingredients stand alone in terms of their importance and what they contribute to making this cake. And hopefully, you know, they're all healthy, good ingredients. But when the cake is made, the cake is far greater than the individual ingredients that come together, that are blended together to make this cake. So when you look at a cake, it's no longer, you're not thinking of the eggs and the flour and the sugar and the butter. However, you couldn't arrive at the cake without those ingredients. So the individual parts are critical. Now, and again, this is given that these ingredients are wholesome, that they're good and they're healthy to produce the best cake possible. And that's what happens when you're in community and you can give the best of yourselves. You produce something that's so much bigger than you. And it's not that it's necessarily better. It's just that it's quantifiably different. And that difference is what results from my contributions, your contributions, the other person's contributions, of our unique gifts and talents that God has imparted upon us to share with the world. And what I can do by myself pales in comparison to what can happen when we, like the ingredients of a cake, come together and we're blended in the right way, and we make this cake. Now, the cake is far greater, again, than those ingredients. We don't think of the individual ingredients. We now think about the cake. So I encourage you to become part of community. I encourage you to find ways to become embedded in a place where you are valued, where you are enriched and empowered, where you are celebrated and you can celebrate others as well, where your soul is nourished, where your contributions help make something so much greater than who you are, and that this community can then be seen as a light in this world, and you can make an impact where it needs to be made, and you can touch lives. That touch I was talking about earlier is felt when you're a part of something that's much bigger than yourselves. So find community. If you can't find it, guess what? Create it. Create it. Find the people who can come together, network together, brainstorm together, mastermind together, bring the best of yourselves together so that you can impact people and things and places and leave your mark on the world, make people move into realms that are greater than they are currently experiencing. So that's my quick message for you today. Just want to encourage you to not live in this isolated, virtually false sense of reality sometimes and false sense of connectivity. Use the virtual world as it's intended to be, but don't deprive yourself. Don't exist in deprived environments where there is no touch. There are no touch points of love and security and synergy and harmony where you come together and the best of you emerges. Stuff you don't even think that you knew or can produce results from that stimulation. So have a wonderful evening. May the rest of your week be just completely fabulous. Push forward, keep praying, keep believing. And it's not that hocus pocus belief, but it's belief in the strength you can receive from God and from your community, that the things you're called to do would be materialized and manifested when you're in the right circle. So blessings upon you and all those connected to you. Make your connections be something that you're truly happy to look back on and see the legacies you've created. Have a wonderful evening and until we talk again.